My most ambitious knit-along for 2023 is just about to begin. This movie is the first one in a new video series about knitting this sweater, a shawl-collared vest. We'll cover both lengths, the just below the waist length and the tunic length. Both versions are being added to the existing book, Vests with Men in Mind. It works like this. Going forward, anybody who buys the book will automatically get the original file plus this one. Those who have already bought the book will receive a notice via Ravelry that they have a new file to add to their collection to download for free. There will be a link to where the book is for sale in the program notes. We will cover these two patterns completely in this video series, but in the book, they're available in 9 sizes. And to avoid confusion in the video series, we will stick with sizes 40 to 42 finished chest. The techniques are identical for all sizes, so following this video series will help you with any size you decide to knit. The Winter Woods vest was also the subject of a video series, and you will find some real similarities in the pattern, but also some real differences. The shapes of the two vests are very much alike. The main shape difference is the neckline. Winter Woods has a classic V-neck. This vest has a shawl collar made of ribbing, and it can be worn folded down as shown or up for maximum warmth. The shawl collar fits into a big neckline notch. The next main difference is the yarn. This project uses Ice Hysterico yarn. It's a wool acrylic blend that I find very comfortable against the skin. It's very light. Hand washing it does not change its gauge noticeably. If you wish to use a substitute yarn, that's fine, but here's some stuff you need to know. This one's really loosely spun, and that contributes to the hand of the fabric. This is one of the times when I find myself in disagreement with the yarn label. It's listed as number 3. It has 98 yards per 1.75 ounces. It behaves much more like the light end of a number 5 or heavy number 4 yarn than it does a number 3. It's definitely best to rewind the yarn to use it on the machine, and it does knit well on any bulky machine. The label is designed so if you pull out the center portion that I'm pointing to, it should pull out the yarn tail to allow for easy winding. You do have to be very gentle and careful for that to work properly. The gauge is 3.5 stitches and 5 rows per inch. Now that is very, very close to the gauge for the Winter Woods vest, but the fabrics are very different. Let's zoom in. This one is a really dense, windproof, almost felted feeling fabric. This one is much lighter and softer. It's not open. All the spaces get filled in by the lofting of the fabric after you wash it, but it's a lot lighter and softer. And good news, we've been wearing the samples steadily since I knitted them, and they seem to be quite pill resistant. The regular length in most sizes is 25 inches. Tunic is 29 inches long. In the top 3 sizes, the regular length and the tunic length are both longer to allow for the fact that bigger, taller people need more length. Yarn requirements for each size are shown here in skeins of Hysterico or yardage in case you need to substitute. Now let's talk machines. A ribber is optional. I did all of the ribbing on my Brother 260. For the neckline and waistline ribbing of the shorter vest, I used stitch size 5.5. You will definitely want to experiment and find the perfect stitch size for your setup because not all ribbers get the same stitch size as the main bed gets on the same number. For the tunic ribbing, I did not want it to pull in. That's going to be pulling in right around the fanny of most ladies, and we don't really usually like it. I used stitch size 7.7. If you want your ribbing to pull in strongly and have a lot of memory, I suggest running along a strand of Lycra because this soft yarn doesn't really do that on its own. It's a good idea to have a cast-on rag ready because while you can start with the ribbing, I prefer to start this vest from above the ribbing with a cast-on rag and add the ribbing at the end. I made parts of the two vests on 3 different machines. On the Studio 150, I got the gauge at stitch size 7.2 on the dial. On my Corona CN9, stitch size 8 got the gauge. And on my Brother 260, stitch size 9. Most likely, we'll devote one video to the back, one to the front, including the neckline shaping, one to the hem ribbing, one to the neckline ribbing, one to the armhole ribbing, and one on general finishing. That will keep each video short enough to make it easy for you to find what you're looking for and to facilitate loading for me. So get your supplies together, do some swatching, decide on a size, yarn, and machine, and I'll see you soon. And if you're making a size other than 40 or 42, and or you just like to have a written pattern to refer to, this book is available on my website.